Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, November 19th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of SPY, IWM, and Triple Qs. We'll go over all the charts in all three of these indices. Once again, another day of pretty erratic price action. That's two in a row. Yes, I did well with it. Today I did not, although if I had held, I would have. I'll go over those in a moment, but very, very tough day for me. Russell goes out with a price probe to the downside. They almost get to March's high in G and fails. That's something we'll look at on the chart. They took out, that is pretty interesting, for both us, ES, SPY, IWM, and Righty. They took out both sides of the IB, right, the first hour of trading, A and B, but yet we didn't take out either of the overnight high or low. That's got to be pretty rare. Very rare. It's rare that you don't get at least one of the overnights, and it's rare you take out the both sides of the IB. I mean, not as rare as not getting the overnights, but still. So erratic price action. Even Triple Qs, they held their gap, had higher value, yet puked up so much more than I expected. And that was one of the trades that I got hurt on that I'll talk about in a minute. But they end, we all end with wide pox, 9 wide for us, 10 for Russell, 10 for Triple Qs. So I took 2 trades today, so I didn't do anything in A period. B period opened in SPY. Now remember, we took out yesterday's high. We still had to get above last week's high. We were right at it, right? We had an inside week up. That didn't really do much. We also had an outside day up yesterday. So I'm like, okay, we're banging on the door here in A. B open had a poor high, backed off. So I went to go buy some calls. Didn't think I got them. And obviously, not only did I get them, but I doubled my position, which I didn't expect. And lo and behold, B went down. Now, the good thing, what I did in B, I was holding them. I bought a little, then I started trying to scalp in between holding that position. I'm like, all right, we haven't taken out. We're not one-time framing down yet. Even in C, I held these. I'm like, we had a poor low B and C. We had a poor high. I added good size, actually, right around C's low. But the problem, again, with options is the decay. And even though I was only in this trade from B, C, and D, they decayed a lot. So, obviously, I got back a lot that I was out. I finally took them off. I'm trying to think if I took them off. I think it was above C's highs, the rest of them. But I ended up losing. But certainly got back a lot when I was down. And then what happened is what I was expecting early. I told the room, I said, and that's why I bought them initially. I'm like, something's telling me we're going to at least pop and get the all-time high. Now, the overnight high is all the way up here. I didn't care if we were going to get that. But I thought we should try and get the overnight high and see what we get, the all-time high in regular trading hours, and see what we get for it. Well, obviously it didn't happen there. It happened here. Now, I didn't do anything here. Now the market reverses. We hit an all-time high in regular trading hours, starts reversing. I'm like, okay. And I also saw Triple Qs reverse. And they had a reversal bar. They took out F's high and then F's low. I'm like, okay. If we pull back, I think I'm going to be more comfortable looking for a long in Triple Qs for a lot more reasons. They had the gap. They had clearly higher value. Their POC was up here at the time. I'm like, okay, well, needless to say, not only did we continue to go down, we took out both sides of the IB in SPY and in Russell. I was long a decent amount of these things. I was making some money on them initially, and then I started puking, and I'm like, I didn't like the fact that we got below the opening. I didn't. So I got out of them. Now, should I have gotten out of them? Well, obviously, the way we went up, I'll say no. And in fact, after I got out of them for a pretty good loss, when we got back above the opening in I was very tempted to get back in. But after getting bit pretty good on SPY and even bigger in here, I just watched it. Now, if I had gotten back in with the size I had and held it back through I, when I went back up, and J would have gotten everything back and more from both of them. But obviously, I didn't take the trade. So just a rough day. I wasn't wrong on my calls. I definitely was early in the SPY call, obviously. Didn't happen till F and G, where I was expecting it in B. And Qs, I don't think I was wrong either. It's just that you have to respect how much these short-term traders can move a market. And they moved it more than I wanted it to be, which was below the opening. And that's why I got out of it. But I could have gotten back in. Anyway, Monday's another day. As far as destinations in SPY, 469.54, 9 wide, upside destination, L's high. Then we have the afternoon rally high, J, 469.85, 470.94, weekly high, all-time high, and then 472, pre-market all-time high. Now, we had excess. Remember we had excess a couple of these days. Now I'm in different increments now, so you really can't tell. But we had excess at the high initially. We definitely have excess possibly on the daily. Now, if we didn't have this overnight high or pre-market high, whatever you want to call it, still above us, I would say, maybe we put in a short-term top for now. And maybe we'll take out a weekly low and balance a bit before maybe we get legs up again in December. But because we have that, I'm not sure how much we want to take out to the downside. Although, you never know. It remains to be seen. Again, next week, it's only 3.5 days. It's a holiday week. The path of least resistance is up. I would be a little surprised if the market really flushed out. Maybe we had a very small range this week. The range is only $4.61. That's nothing. You could do that in a time frame. So we can take out this week's low. It wouldn't be that hard, but remains to be seen. As far as our downside, 468.50, today's low. 466.34, yesterday's low. 466.23, don't forget. Weekly low now, poor low from the 15th. And then don't forget, we never took back that trend day. 466.22 to 465.37 and 465.34 to 18. So that trend day held. So now let's go and break down all these charts because things definitely changed for the Russell. Okay. So here's IWM. Eight-month balance. Finally exploded out of it this month. Got $10 above it. Well, now we're over $10 below the all-time high. 244.46. We closed at 232.72. Pretty disappointing. And we're also inside of March's range, which was the entire 8-month balance. 234.53. Now, I'm not saying it's all over for the bulls, for Russell. Okay, I still think this market has legs to it, which would mean they should also. But you don't want to keep testing back into that balance. And if they ever firmly get inside of that balance, well, we know the opposite destination is all the way down at the 207, 210 level, okay? Where we tested 3 times in that 8 months. So, and now believe it or not, the monthly's up. I am still calling the monthly up. Right? We still have 5.5 trading days left. Still calling it up. If we take out in December this month's low, whatever it turns out to be, then we're firmly back in balance. But for now, the monthly is up in the Russell, although back inside of March. Now, the weekly has gone from up to balance. It's a 3-week balance. The all-time high, which happened just last week, my friend. So we came in over $10 off the high in a week. And the bottom of the 3-week balance is 228.89, which happens to be this month's low for now. But if you take out this weekly low of November 1st, I'd be a little concerned if I was buyers in Russell. So right now the monthly's up, the weekly is balanced. The daily is firmly down. Here's your all-time high. And since then, we came into balance, then went down, balance, down. So from the all-time high, we went balance, 3 days, down the next day, 2 inside days in a row, came out of it to the upside. Remember that? I was like, okay, they came out of the upside daily downside, inside daily upside. That's good. And look how they closed. They had an outside day down or up. It was an ugly close. So that put it into balance. And now since then, down 4 days. And they're below the 20. So they've given up a lot. So monthly is up. Weekly is balance. Daily is down. Triple Qs. Nothing's really changed here. Up. Outside month up. So that's nice and healthy for the Qs. And a new high today. Weekly. Up. Inside week. Now their inside week proved a lot more fruitful than ours. Last week's high was 399.62. We got up to 405.30. So we got up over $5 above that inside week. That's impressive. So they're one time framing up 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks, just like us. But they definitely did a better job on their inside week up, which you'll see in SPY in a minute. So monthly up, weekly up, daily up. Outside day up a bunch of days ago. So they've been one time framing up now after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they have a gap, which is the main focus. So triple Qs right now are the healthiest, even though we're up also, right? We're all our time frames are up. But I would say Qs for now are the healthiest. Now let's go to SPY and ES. So we had an outside month up, and we're up this month. So it's healthy, right? We're up in the monthly. Weekly. We had an inside week last week. 470.23. We failed miserably after getting that Tuesday morning. Wednesday, Thursday, never saw it. Today in G period, exploded above it and came right back in. So our inside week up, for the most part, was a failure. Triple Qs went $5 above. We went 60 cents or 70 cents, whatever it was. That's pretty much a failure. But we're still one time framing up 6 weeks. So healthy. And then the daily, I will call it up now. Even though we failed, we got the all-time high and came back in. But I'm going to give the buyers their due. We had an outside day up yesterday. We were in a 4-day balance. I'm going to call the daily up. If we're able to take out today's high on Monday, well, then we should go and get the overnight all-time high. However, if we take out today's low, then we'll firmly be back in it will be a 6-day balance, including Monday, if we take out today's low. But for now, I'm going to call the daily up. 56 million, horrible volume all week. Again, we're at all-time highs up here, and the volume just is horrendous. And it's even with this erratic price action. Look at yesterday's action, and then today's action, and the volume still stinks. So the good thing is there hasn't been a long-term seller to attempt to start unloading really in this market. Now, they might be doing it passively. Because we get these wide pops, they might be passively selling. It's certainly not aggressive, right? There's no volume. But that's the good news. We keep hitting highs, and they have no intention of really selling. And guess what? There's really no reason to sell just yet because all the time frames are up. The next thing that we should really be concerned with is basically, well, a couple things. He's supposed to announce the Fed head before Thanksgiving. Again, if it's Powell or Brainerd, I don't think this market bats an eye because they're dovish. If he throws a curveball and puts somebody hawkish in there, which I think is less than a 1% chance, then the markets would get rattled. But still, we have to be aware that that's coming out prior to Thanksgiving. The next thing then is the Fed, which is the middle of December. And then they're also going to be talking about the debt ceiling. That's just crap as far as I'm concerned. They always cry about it and everything else. We know they're going to kick it down the road. So the algos might get a little upset by news of the government shutting down. They're not going to shut down. So the biggest thing would be the Fed in the middle of the month. I hope you had a good day trading and a good week. Thanks for subscribing and the likes. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.